This is Mixtape Talks, and I'm your host, Nikki B, putting positive news right at your fingertips. Hey everyone, my name is Nikki B, and welcome to this episode of Mixtape Talks. And today I have Jacob Dockter in the studio. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
So I'm Jacob. I'm from Washburn, originally from Romania. I came over here 22 years ago, and I currently reside in Mandan.
Ooh, the other side of the river.
Other side.
That's okay. We'll let you slide on this one. Okay, I've known you for a little while now, and I know your story. And, when I was working for a TV station here in town, I got the honor and privilege to interview you and hear a lot of that story. And I know we don't have a ton of time to kind of wrap it all up, in here, but if you just want to kind of share a little bit about like your past and where you've been, and then we can just kind of transfer that into how you got here today.
Awesome. Yeah. So, originally came from Romania. I was an angry kid right off the bat. I was in an orphanage. I was on the streets for 2 years, then went into an orphanage for a year. Came to America, and school was super hard for me, so I didn't know how to cope. I broke things as a kid, would fight as a kid, and then it progressed into my teenage years where I found my dad's medication, and that's when I started using pills. And then I got into sports, and I thought it'd be great to try meth. And
great idea.
Yep. I thought it helped me in sports, and then
Sure.
It turned into an addiction. And so I was using, meth for about 5 years, and then I went to heroin, and I was IV using at the age of 14. And then I went to Teen Challenge in Colorado. That was 5 years ago. I've been sober since. And then my heart has always been to help others.
Yeah.
Even in my addiction, I could probably testify for everyone in addiction, they want to help someone, And,
yeah. I think that's common when you hear people who are coming into recovery and a program of recovery where they have like the heart of service.
Yeah.
And so just kind of talk about some of those ways that you have in the past 5 years that you said have been clean. In what ways have you been giving back?
So me and my wife opened up our house about 4 years ago. If his apartment is open to others, we let people stay there. Even now, our home it's opened up to people, so people are living there. And I actually just started a new business about a year ago, and the people that live with me get to work with me.
That's cool.
And for the business doing junk removal, we get to help others who are in some pretty tough circumstances, either in addiction or mental health issues, and we ultimately get to share Jesus with them and just be a service to them as well. So
I love that so much. It's so cool. So, you're one of the most humble people that I know. And I think it's so cool just to see how you've been living your life out and being like that demonstration of Christ and his love and what that looks like to people in like real life. Like this guy, like seriously, you're giving people rides in the winter time to and from their jobs. Like when we had that crazy blizzard here in Bismarck, I just know that like you are the type of person to just drop everything that you're doing to go and help someone, because that was your life for a while. You were living on the streets. You saw what it was like to be homeless. So just kind of talk about that and what that looks like for you today.
So partially the reason why, like you said, I will drop things, If I have a planned day and someone needs my help, I'll put everything aside and go help the person. But when I was in my addiction, people did that for me. I mean, ultimately, if it wasn't my family, it was, someone that I didn't even know, and they would drop everything and do whatever they could to help me.
Right.
Even in the wintertime, I really couldn't work just because of my, what I do for work.
Sure.
So I thought a great opportunity would be giving people rides or going out and giving people coats. Back in the past, I did that, and blankets. I don't know. My life, I just want to be a service to others, and the last 5 years has been very good to me. So
I love that so much. So The name of your business is Redemption Junk Removal.
Yeah.
And so kind of talk about what it's been like being a new business owner and some of the people that you've gotten to help.
So being a new business owner is tough. A lot of anxiety, a lot of
Sure.
stress in the home
I
life.
get that, yeah.
But it's been a blessing. God's got to show me a lot with being a business owner, and the people I'm working with, I have to show a lot of grace.
Yeah.
The way I came up with my business name, Redemption, is just because what God can do for us and what He's done for others, and ultimately that's why I came up with Redemption.
Of course.
So, yeah.
I love that. It's so great what you get to do, and you've been able to help us. Like, we've had stuff that we've had in our garage for a long time that we needed to get removed, and like, he just, it's so cool that you get to make time to just stop by and grab that stuff or whatever. It's like you help so many different types of ranges of people, whether it's helping them just take out their trash if they don't have a dumpster, or picking up some random boxes or some junk from a garage, all the way to people who have struggled with hoarding. And that's a real issue.
Yeah, I think, and with that, a lot of these people have no one to talk to.
Yeah.
So I make that time, and I tell the people that are working with me, if the client wants to talk, if they're opening up, be there for them,
Yeah.
talk with them. We can always, push aside some of the other stuff that's going on in the day, and just gaining a relationship. That's mainly what I want to do with these people. It's not just all about business, but having that friendship and relationship to grow, is ultimately what I
love that.
like to do.
So what is something that has been just on your heart lately that the Lord has been speaking to you, just pressing on your heart? Like what's going on within your life?
I think there's two words for me: grace and patience.
Yeah. Seriously.
I need a lot of that. A lot of people need a lot of that.
A lot of people need to give me that. Like, I'll receive it.
So, it's just really crazy because I deal with a lot of difficult people. You deal with a lot of difficult people, I'm sure. And it brings me back, like, to the addiction. Like, that's how I used to be. I used to be a very difficult person, and people had to deal with me.
Right.
So me being able to show that grace and not get angry, but just accept it. And, try and learn something from the situation.
Yeah.
And make them still feel human. I think that's a huge thing. So that's what I'm learning. There's a lot of patience, too. So
from the outside looking in, you say to make somebody feel human, like, you seem almost superhuman. Like, because you're doing all these things for all these people, but the reality is you're a human, too. So talk about some of those day-to-day habits that you've created in your life that help you to sustain, sobriety and sustain, like, overall spiritual wellness.
So usually I get up at 3, 4 in the morning. I've done that the last, I don't know how many years. And I get my Red Bulls in the morning. I still do that.
I love Red Bull. I love Red Bull.
So once I take the drive every morning to either the gas station or the store, I'll throw on some worship music.
Yeah.
And just talk to God.
Throw on worship music. What do you listen to? What's your worship music?
Elevation, Bethel, worship. I like that.
Have you heard of Maverick City Music?
I have.
Yes.
I listen to
so
it quite
good.
often.
Me too. Okay, come on.
And then I do journal a little bit when I can, when I get the time. But I'll get into some scripture, daily devotionals, and really just have my alone time. I don't get a lot of alone time since I'm either at home with my wife or I'm helping other people or I'm at work, so I get those like 3 hours of just my time, me and Jesus time.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. I love that.
And when I don't do it, you can tell I'm more irritable. I'm,
Oh yeah.
It's tough.
Very impatient and
For
not
sure.
full of grace.
Absolutely.
One thing I really love about you is like you went from being homeless to like having nothing to being able to own a home, have a vehicle, get married, and all of these awesome gifts from God. So if somebody is watching this right now, and I got goosebumps as I'm saying this, that might be struggling with addiction or might be struggling with whatever challenges that life throws at them, what would you say to them? What advice would you offer?
I think ultimately, I guess for what I personally did, I got on my knees, and that's no joke. My parents have always told me, get on your knees, it's a sign of reverence. And I talked to the Lord and told him what I wanted. And eventually, I had to take the steps to get sober, I had to take the steps to get a job, you know, and once I started doing those things, I stayed with good community, either in the church or NA. But I truly believe if you do put your mind to it and take it one step at a time, sometimes you gotta take it 1 minute at a time. That's what I had to do ultimately, because I could veer off, you know, within half a day. But if you have goals, you can reach them, you know.
That's so true, and more often than not, we have to take the steps, even if it doesn't make sense, or take the steps before our mind even agrees with what we're doing. It's just taking that action and then trusting in God in the process that He's going to take care of the rest for you. So, yep. Is there anything else that you want to add that maybe we left out that you want people to know? Where can people find you, your Redemption Junk Removal?
So I'm located in Mandan, but you can go on Facebook under Redemption Junk Removal, and you'll see I post a lot of actually daily devotional kind of stuff here and there on there. And I'll post kind of what we do, some pictures of the jobs we've done, and you'll get to meet some of the guys that work with me on there. So it's pretty neat. Definitely check it out. It's on Facebook.
That's awesome. So. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy guy. Thanks for sharing your heart and just for everything that you do to serve our community. I love your heart and how you serve. So thank you so much for
Absolutely. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Mixtape Talks. Make sure to stick around for more. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date with all the cool things.